My name is Patrice Degnan, and I am the Executive Director of the Institute. Today, we have a special guest. She represents an important partner for us, and she is an amazing person and intellectual and academic. And her name is Cristina Domenech. Cristina, as I said, is a partner through the Hispanic Society Museum and Library. We, approximately 2 years ago now, embarked together with the Hispanic Society on a very interesting initiative. With the museum closing temporarily for renovations, and Cristina will fill us in on that, there was an opportunity to partner and help New York City public school students learn a little bit more about their culture and background and the Spanish-speaking world's heritage. And as it turned out, Carmen Farina, one of our important cultural committee members of the Queen Sofia Spanish Institute, was able to bridge the prestigious Hispanic Society Museum and Library and our organization, which is a cultural organization to enhance Americans' knowledge about all aspects of culture, together. And this has provided us with a platform. And this is why Cristina is here with us today. And we wanted to first thank you, Cristina, for being here. Thank you, the Hispanic Society, for being a terrific partner and hopefully a long-term cohesive organization together with us. And I just had a few questions for you. Cristina, could you just share, before we talk to you about the program, a snippet about your background and your role at the Hispanic Society Museum and Library?
Thank you. First of all, thank you so much, Patrice and the Queen Sofia, for this interview. I am honored to be here today, and I want to thank you for your continued support to our educational programs, to you, to all the Queen Sofia team and board of trustees, and also to especially to Carmen Farina, whose wise advice has been really paramount in the development of our educational programs, and also in our connection to more schools in the neighborhood, in our community.
Terrific. Thank you. And
about me,
yeah.
Well, not very interesting, but well, I was born and raised in Valencia, a city, sunny city in the East Coast in Spain. Joaquin Sorolla, the painter, was also from that city, so we are used to be in a sunny place, which sometimes in New York is as well. So I got my PhD in Valencia, in the University of Valencia, in art history. And then after that, I traveled a lot. I lived in different countries, and then I moved to Madrid. In Madrid, I had the honor to work in the Sorolla Museum in Madrid, and also in
Royal Academy of History.
Royal Academy of History. So those two places were an amazing way to learn and to be with culture and arts. After that, I moved to New York for a short period of time, but it turned out that I am living in New York for 11 years already.
Wow, you're a New Yorker.
Yes, I am. I feel like a New Yorker, yes, absolutely.
One question, Cristina, with respect to your doctorate. Since you lived in Valencia,
yeah,
had you gotten involved in the study of Joaquin Sorolla's painting before moving to Madrid?
Yeah, actually, Sorolla was not part of my initial interest. I was more into contemporary art. My doctoral dissertation was about the contemporary artist, Valencian contemporary artist. But when I moved to Madrid, I went to the Sorolla's Museum, and it was like like an amazing experience working with the team in the museum, and also like rediscovering Soroya's amazing artwork. So that was really important to me when I moved to New York, because thanks to that experience, I was able to join an amazing team with Blanca Ponsoroya, Marroglan in the Meadows Museum. And they were the curator and co-curator, and I helped them to do all the research for an exhibition that was called Soroya and America. That exhibition was a terrific success. We have to think that Soroya had a terrific success in 1909 in the Hispanic Society of America. So this exhibition gave me the opportunity to connect with Soroya's artworks in the US, and to connect with the Hispanic Society, because the most important part of the research took place in the Soroya, in the Hispanic Society. So,
is it true, Cristina, that the Hispanic Society has quite an important representation of Joaquin Soroya's work?
After the Soroya's Museum in Madrid, we are the institution with more artworks by Joaquin Soroya. We have more than 200. Of course, includes drawings, sketches, etc. But we have an outstanding collection by Joaquin Soroya.
Very interesting.
Yes, and after that research finished, I was appointed as head of education at the Hispanic Society, and that was 7 years ago already. Wow. And I have to say that has been the most rewarding experience in my life. I was more interested in research, but working in education revealed to me how important is education in the museum, how important is to make accessible the collections for everybody, for all audiences, and also to make them enjoyable and to enhance people's lives with art, through art and culture. So I have to say that this is an amazing experience to me.
Thank you very much. And to share with our public a little bit about the background of Maps and Globes. As you talked about connectivity between Soroya and the Hispanic Society, mm-hmm. I think what we are realizing with the Maps and Globes program, and thanks to all of our partners, and especially District 6 in New York, Upper Manhattan, is that we all have recognized that enhancing Americans' knowledge about Spanish-speaking world is important. But most importantly, there seems to be a disconnect within our American culture for Hispanic Americans. And it's something that I would really appreciate if you could discuss the program's most important mission right now about Maps and Globes and what we're enhancing in New York City education to a small degree so far, mm-hmm. in the pilot programs.
Yeah, you are totally right. Hispanic population in New York is, I think it's like 28%. And in our communities, surrounding communities are like 80%. So, of course, those audiences are paramount in our educational programs. Hispanic Society has its collections on Hispanic art and cultures. His museum, I don't want to forget that we are a museum and a library. The library has like one of the most important collections worldwide. We have been always trying to reach out our community in the most meaningful way. and which is more important to me in this particular program, the maps and globes, is that this is the result of an amazing partnership with teachers, educators, institutions like the Queen Sofia Spanish Institute. It was like a big team. We like 2 years ago, we reached out some teachers and officials in our community, asking them how we could share our collections with their students. So they surprisingly they said that most of many students from Hispanic heritage were like missing their culture and also their language. As an immigrant myself, I totally can understand that when you move to another country, you want to merge with that culture, and you try to speak English, you try to engage with their culture, but you at the same time you totally can keep your roots and your cultural background. So that was very important, because I didn't know that these students were like missing their cultural background, and at the same time many students, non-Hispanic students, were very interested in knowing and learning about Hispanic heritage in order to understand better their classmates or friends. So after many discussions and meetings, we decided to put together a program based on maps. The maps and charts and globes collection at the Hispanic Society is one of the most important in the whole world. We have items from 15th century to 19th century, unique examples of charts and maps and globes. So, but it's important because maps are at the same time are like scientific artifacts. They are also like useful tools for navigation, but at the same time they are also artworks, because ours are really artworks. So always with the continuous advice of teachers and people from the neighborhood, the different kind of cultural officers, and always keeping in mind the New York Department of Education standards, we created this program. It's important to say that we were very aware, and we are very aware that speaking about colonization is a very tricky and sensitive subject. So we try to be the more neutral on our content. We always talk about facts, and it's up to the students to discuss and to have their own opinions. We always say, if you want to have an opinion, you have to know the facts.
Well said.
Yes, and this is very important. And after 2 years, we realized that using this in-class debate and with all students feeling more engaged in their culture, even more prouder of their cultural background, they even discovered themselves like having a very high level discussions about colonization. It has been so enriching just putting together this and implementing this program.
Thank you for that. And could you explain a little bit about the structure of lessons and topics? How many topics and lessons do you provide to these students?
Mm-hmm. Well, since the subject is so wide, so rich, we try to divide it in different lessons. We usually have 4 lessons, but we are thinking about to add one more. I will speak about that later. And in these 4 lessons, these lessons usually take place in class and during the class time. We usually work with Spanish or history or social studies teachers. And in the first class, we usually talk about practical knowledge of how to read a map, what maps are, why were they so important during the Renaissance, during the medieval ages, why they were like a secret of a state. They were so important that many countries kept them as a secret. And again, knowledge is power. When people knew how to navigate, they were able to go farther and farther. And it's a way to discuss maps in the past, but also we want to bring maps to the current days. So how students use maps? We use maps all the time through Google Maps, with the subway maps. Even when you go to for a walk in the park, you can orientate yourself with some tools that used to be used by navigators. So this is not just a matter of the past. It's something that we usually use nowadays. So this is the first lesson. It's more about cartography. The second lesson goes deeper in the subject of the Spanish colonization in the Americas. And we start discussing about the Caribbean, the first encounters between Spanish and natives in the Caribbean, which cultures and ways of life used to be before the Spanish arrival, the Taínos and the different cultures. The third lesson goes to the continent. We go to the Mayas, to the Aztecs and the Incas. We talk about those rich and amazing cultures, pre-Columbian cultures that were in the Americas before the European arrival. And then how colonization took place, what happened, conflicts, but always speaking about facts. And in the last lesson, we usually have an in-class debate. That lesson is the students are the teachers, and they have to talk about their opinions. They already have the tools, they already have the knowledge. Now they can discuss. And I have to say that it's impressive, the level of knowledge and the passion that the students used to put into these discussions.
Passion is part of the Latin personality.
Absolutely, yeah. It's really amazing.
Cristina, do you conduct these classes in Spanish or in English? How is that organized?
Both. We usually, all of our programs are bilingual. Also the visits to the museum, everything is always bilingual. And we provide the lessons in the language that teachers want to. I have to say that we mainly deliver the programs in Spanish.
Very good. And how do you have Native Americans in the classes, Cristina?
Absolutely, yes, we do. And not only that, but also some of them still know their native languages. Some students now are able to speak different languages, and we discuss in class how many of these words from the Nahuatl or the other languages, native languages, are part of our actual vocabulary. And they are really surprised, but many, like canoa or avocado, come from those words come from Native American languages.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to also explain that I found it very interesting how we were able, through Carmen Farina and Manny Ramirez, who's the District 6 superintendent of New York schools, middle schools, to gather at the Hispanic Society a gathering of parents, principals, and teachers of this district to have everyone on the same page and to understand how we partner to help broaden the understanding of the importance of this aspect and of integrating the Hispanic Society Museum and Library into life in Upper Manhattan and other boroughs. So I want to make a shout out to all of you at the Hispanic Society for doing that, because I think that sometimes the immigrant experience is about striving to come up the rings of society, and a lot of that is hard working people. Mm-hmm. And that what we're trying to do is enhance everyone's knowledge base, and as you say, through factual information. And that's what we're trying to do with the Queen Sofia Spanish Institute in all aspects of our cultural missions, whether it be literature, language, culture, arts, history. And you really hit the nail on the head when you were focusing on the importance of factual-based learning. Absolutely. Because there's no campaigns here. I always say culture goes way above politics. It's a much more intellectual exercise that unifies and enhances, and it doesn't separate. Absolutely. And you know what I want to talk about a little bit to be more spontaneous and to help everyone understand where we want to go is to talk about our plans together for expanding these lessons in new and innovative ways through our digital connectivity for all schools and let's say moderating programs to enjoy this type of cultural knowledge. Can you expound on that, please, Cristina?
Absolutely. I am very excited because today we just recorded the first lesson in order to put it in the website. Our website, of course, the Queen Sophia's website, but we want to go much further. Do you remember, Patrice, we discussed going wider and yes. A long time ago, but yeah. The everyday work didn't allow us to go digital. Right. Back then, but now with this situation, the COVID and then this pandemic, we are all locked down at home, and we are like rediscovering this ways of communication. Mm-hmm. But it can be worldwide. I speak with my people in Spain every day, and people in Italy, people in other countries. So our next step is absolutely to go digital. There are many ways to do it, but one is like recording the lessons and make them available in the website. But also we are thinking about the possibility to create the programs live through Zoom or other platforms. It's totally possible. We only have to set up a meeting with different with teachers and students, and that way the program can be live. Questions are possible, discussions are also possible, and because discussion and critical thinking are to me the most important parts of this program, and everything. When you learn, you have to be critical all the time. You have to get your own opinion and to think on your own. And through these lessons being live, I think we can do that, and we can go over all the United States, but also we can even go further. We can go Europe or worldwide. Yeah. If we want to. So of course we are working on that. Yes,
absolutely, together. Well, I think that we covered a broad base of subjects today, and this is just the beginning of our partnership. And together we are looking forward to enhancing our own and our patrons, our friends, and our world's knowledge base to create a broader thinking, less biased, more unified country and world. And this is the silver lining in this new endeavor to reach out and to provide hands-on digital learning for everyone. And Cristina, thank you so very much.
Thank you.